Hello, and welcome to this edition of California's CEO Magazine. I'm your host, Alexandria Nardoni. We recently joined Anchos Southwest Grill and Bar during its week-long celebration of their 25th anniversary here in Riverside, California. We talked with the owner, Dean Bergstrom, and manager, Pepe Padilla, to discover their secret to success and what 25 years of service meant to them and the community. Since its opening on November 7, 1989, Anchos, an independently owned and operated restaurant, has become one, if not the most successful restaurant in the inland Southern California region. They accomplished this by sticking with their original business plan. Now, let's go meet Dean and Pepe.
My favorite is salmon with cilantro lime butter because the taste is just so wonderful with that.
Well, I think tonight I'm having my favorite, which is the fresh salmon.
Yeah, their fresh fish is just great. I love the fresh fish.
The carne asada and the shrimp. They are just, that combination is just wonderful.
The tortillas for her.
I love the tortillas and salsa. Hands down.
What keeps me coming back is just the fresh food, and that nobody does fish like Anchos. Nobody does fish like Anchos.
Welcome, gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Alex.
Definitely. So, from what I understand, you're celebrating your 25th anniversary. But before we get more into that, I want to know, when you two first opened the restaurant, since you have been there since the beginning, what was life like for you and the restaurant?
It was a huge challenge. My original two partners, a gentleman by the name of Doug Wardle and Jack Collins, we kind of had this inspiration. We'd all worked together in Houston, Texas in the early 80s, worked for some corporate restaurants then, kind of went out on a limb and took this adventure on, and it was a bit of a stressful event. We were fortunate that we did have some good financing behind us. We had some great staff. We had some what we thought were talents. Found this location, had a lady here do a build-a-suit for us, and we got the doors open and got rolling. Our style of food was a little different than your traditional Mexican restaurant, so that kind of caught some people off guard. So we really had some, I don't know if you want to call it education, we just really had some taste buds to nurture and to build. We made some adaptations to some of our recipes, but we just stuck with it, and we had some, I don't know whether you want to call it divine intervention or some luck or whatever come our way, and several times during the course of the history of the restaurant, and things just got better and better and better. The community was more and more accepting of us, and we were more at one with the community, and things kind of started to take off. And now the last umpteenth years, we've just really concentrated on sticking with our business plan, sticking with our original direction. We find now that as time has gone on, that now we've created certain flares, and so when you talk about change, we really don't want to change because people expect a certain identity when they come to Anchos, whether it's the flavor of the food, the style of the service, and we get that comment all the time. One of the reasons we come here is because consistency. You guys are always the same. So when we sit down and talk about making changes, we kind of scratch our heads a little bit and think, well, okay, what are the repercussions of this? Because remember, we got those people that everything needs to be the same.
And then Pepe, as a general manager throughout these years and throughout using this word consistency to market yourself as a business, I mean, what do you think has made Anchos so successful these past 25 years?
I think consistency in our flavors, consistency in the portions, consistency in the service, and giving back to the guests what they're paying for. Everything has to be done with friendship, fairness, and honesty. We offer fresh food. They pay for fresh food. We offer the best service in town. They get that. Every dollar that they spend is turned back to them as what they expected for every dollar that they spend with us. We try to be a destination because they know they're going to have a happy face at the end of their experience here. And money in the wallet.
The other thing that I think is really critical too is that within our, as Pepe alluded to, friendly style service, and it's kind of almost a hometown feel or whatever. I mean, Pepe and I are always here when our guests are here. And we are out on the floor. We do not spend a lot of time in our office because it's not real fun in our office anyway. It's not very big. But we like to spend our time out on the floor with our guests. And we go out and we talk to our guests. And people ask me sometimes, you know, do you have comment cards? The comment cards are right here. It's Pepe and I. And we really, really care about our guest experience here. Now, we know we can't please 100% of the people 100% of the time, but we sure try. And when people want to give us feedback, we take that and we try to develop all our staff. And we're very fortunate that we have a lot of long-term staff here in the restaurant that are keyed into that also. So if there's something that maybe is a little bit off, or they feel a little apprehension at a table, they know they can come to us, and we want to get out there and we want to talk to those people. You know, we'd like to appeal to families. We're not a kids restaurant, but we want to be very, very family friendly. So we take care of it, whether the kids, you know, when they come in, people are comfortable. I think it's in some ways the general setting of the restaurant. I mean, the floors are concrete, so I'm always kidding people when the kids kind of make a mess on the floor. You know, they're bringing little 1.5, 2-year-olds, and people feel bad. Oh, I made a mess, and I tell them, you know, if the floor was, I mean, the restaurant was designed that way. The restaurant was designed so we come over with a broom, a dustpan, a mop. We can clean up after the kids, and then off we go. You know, but as far as coloring sheets, dough balls, the tortilla machine in the middle of the restaurant, popsicles, which is a huge thing for the kids. You know, it's like home. It's you know, the parents can, you know, okay, you got to eat your dinner first, and then you can go get a popsicle, and off the kids go to the popsicle cooler, and so that really enjoys that, and we enjoy that interaction. And Pepe and I've seen now, it's kind of a chuckle. Little kids that were, you know, 3, 4 years old running to the popsicle cooler now are 23, 24 years old, and they're 6 foot tall, and every now and then we see them over at the popsicle cooler, and that's just because that's a tradition when you come to Anchos.
And Pepe, have you had any guests come up to you and tell you about a specific type of dish that they hope that you guys never ever change?
Well, the fajitas, the skirt steak, definitely the skirt steak, the ribs, and the shrimp. I think the size of our shrimp is unique. It's really big. People all the time praise the flavor and the size of the shrimp. The fajitas, the steak, like Dean said, is the only cut basically we offer. Different presentations, whether it's in a carne asada, tacos al carbon, quesadilla steak, taco salad steak, fajita single, double, combos 1 through 4. The main ingredient is the steak, outside skirt steak. And they, like Dean said, whatever you do, don't change this. You can probably increase the price, I keep buying. You can, if you do a little bit less, I might be coming, but do not hurt us changing the product.
My favorite dish is the steak tacos. The steak is delicious.
My favorite meal is the carne asada. The ribs are amazing. They like fall off the bones. Like it's the most amazing set of ribs you've ever had or seen in your entire life.
I love their fajitas. I love their carne asada.
The taco enchilada burrito menu is hard to beat. I especially enjoy the homemade tortillas. Putting some butter, some salt on it before you eat. Oh, it's great.
My favorite food here is the carne fajitas. They're the best in the whole county of Riverside.
So you two explained that your food is fresh. Now, but what does that mean exactly? Because many restaurants say they cook stuff hot and fresh all the time, but usually their food comes out of a freezer. I mean, what makes Anchos unique in that aspect?
Well, we use fresh products. Everything comes fresh. For instance, the salsa is made with roasted tomatoes, onions, peppers, blended, and done gallon by gallon as we serve it. The guacamole is fresh, also made every hour, every 2 hours, as long as we need it. We just keep making it fresh. It's not previously frozen or liquefied or out of the bag. The fish, we got fresh delivery daily. Doesn't matter whether it's salmon, ahi tuna, ono, halibut. The cooks in the back get the whole loin. They trim it, they clean it, they debone it, they portion it, and then it's cooked right on the spot on the mesquite grill. The chips are fried as we go. The chips got cut here, the salsa made here, everything cooked on the mesquite, and the fresh produce comes, all our peppers come from Santa Fe, from Albuquerque, New Mexico. We don't have anything out of bags, and anything out frozen.
What else do you think makes Anchos unique?
Well, I think Pepe kind of slipped on a little bit there, or missed, is obviously our tortillas, which we have a tortilla machine right in the middle of the restaurant. There you go, Pepe. And you know, right there, our tortillas. We have a machine. When we originally designed the building, we had intent that was going to kind of be a showpiece, and over the years that has developed, and those tortillas are coming off. That machine gets turned on at 9:30 in the morning, doesn't get turned off till 10, 11 o'clock at night, and it's cranking out tortillas all day long. We start back with in the back with a great big Hobart mixer, a 60-quart Hobart mixer. We got a couple of people in back that are making that, 25 pounds of flour, and adding their ingredients or whatever, and then rolling them into little dough balls, and off we go. So a lot of people think that tortilla machine, they think that's kind of interesting, and it is a labor saver a little bit having the machine, but most of the labor's already been done in the back of the house, where we've taken hours and hours of just prepping those dough balls. But when you talk about, you know, the salsas, fresh salsa, we're probably using 125 to 150 cases of tomatoes a week coming in the restaurant, 30 to 40 cases of fresh Hass avocados. And every day before the shift, after the shift, we're prepping that. At nighttime when we're done, that's what we'll do, a prep on our salsa, so we have a chance to roast the vegetables off, like Pepe said, and then chilling them down, and then the next morning we're adding them, and we're only blending them a gallon at a time. As Pepe said, our chilies for our red chilies, our green chilies, are coming out of New Mexico. For our red sauce and our green sauce. So everything we have, we try to, we make from scratch here. People are always amazed, and our desserts or whatever, where do you get those? I say, we make that from here. Where do you get your blue cheese dressing? We make that here. And as the years have gone on, it's been really tempting to contract that out, or to cut some dollars, or save some dollars, as it were, as people, you know, there's just easier ways, less prep time. You talk about the increase in minimum wage and labor dollars to do all this stuff. Well, it all comes with a price tag. And so it gets very, very tempting to say, hey, we could save this amount of money if we had our onions already chopped for us. But we've always kind of stuck to our guns and said, let's go. And it's amazing, over the years, we've always kind of looked. We just had a series, probably a year and a half ago, that you always had these companies to you that, hey, we have no preservatives added into an avocado pulp, and this stuff will be wonderful, and you know, you won't notice a difference in the taste or whatever. And every time I have done a cutting or a taste test with one of those products, it is not the same as fresh. And I just tell them now, whenever salesmen or a rep come in and they want to sell me something, I said, Buchos, they come in, I bring them in, I said, okay, that's fine. You've got this great product, now let's just do it. Here's the easy test. Let's put it up against a fresh product. And every time it doesn't pan out.
So, I mean, throughout the years, and while Anchos has been open, this region has encountered some difficult economic times. I mean, has Anchos ever been affected by this, or has it prevailed?
You know, we're always affected by it, you know, on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. The fluctuations in price, labor, that always is a constant little reminder or nerve that we've got to be on our guns or whatever. But what we see a lot is one of the original pillars of our business plan was to never sacrifice quality. That always stay with our quality, stay with great product, and that would show itself through. As the years have gone on, now to even substantiate that, a lot of my guests even tell me, said, Dean, whatever you do not change the quality of your product. You can change your pricing, but do not change that. So, you know, there's a huge temptation. We use a cut of beef all over our menu called an outside skirt steak. Extremely price volatile, and it's an outstanding cut of beef now, and it's grown in huge popularities. There have been so many times, so many temptations to switch to another cut, but every time that's the sacrifice of quality. Every time, and that constantly now reverberates through my mind is that original part of our business plan, but even more so now after 25 years, is those guests ringing in my ears. Dean, do not change the quality of your product. So we just work with it as much as we can. We have some very, very difficult months from time to time, especially when the price of some of those products go up. I think we're fortunate that we're not a corporate scenario, and we don't have huge amount of demand from shareholders or corporate officers for increased profits to make those jumps. We can sit back and say, you know what, let's work to try to weather this storm through. Let's see what happens. Let's run this out for 2, 3, 6 months, and we'll make adjustments. We'll try to keep going on as much as we can, but we'll look at our pricing, but we'll try to keep it as affordable as we possibly can, but we don't want to confuse that guest by changing the product.
I've been coming to Anchos for probably 10 years, and what keeps me coming back is the service and the chili rellenos to die for.
Anchos is a great place to have a family event, very affordable. You can go throughout all of Riverside, not find a better place than this. We love it. We come here whenever we can.
The staff is unbelievably great. You got it. They're wonderful. I love Anchos. They just make me welcome.
You know what I really like? I like the tortillas and the chips and salsa, and then I fill up on it, so all I can eat is an enchilada. But I don't know, I'm just a chicken fan.
I just got back from Afghanistan, and the first place I wanted to eat was Anchos, favorite place.
Now, what is your most favorite part of your jobs for you, Dean, as owner, and for you, Pepe, as a manager?
Let me answer that first. For me, I want to divide it in two parts. The first part, I would say this is not my job. This is my hobby. I really enjoy coming to work or to be here every day. This is the most interesting part, the most fun part for me. The second part is to work with the people I work with and to work for the people I work for. I work with good employees, long-lasting employees. I work with Dean, that I have learned a lot from him as far as honesty and hard work and respect the customer and give the customer back whatever they buy in and do everything by the book, nothing outside the lines. That's to me what I really enjoy. Working on Anchos, which is my hobby, and working with the crew I work with, and for the customers that we, day in, day out, we interact. Some of them are more than customers, they're friends now. That was part of what I said earlier, friendly service. We become friends, we get into our lives together, we talk about our families, our kids, our things in our personal lives. That's what I like. You know, it's like interaction with the people I work with, what I work for, and what I keep learning every day.
And how about you, Dean? What's your favorite part about your job?
You know, I reiterate with Pepe right there. I think it's wonderful. It's fun to come in and work with these kids. Now that Pepe and I are getting a little older, it's kind of fun because we're running around with a lot of late teens or early 20-somethings, but we still feel like we can kind of keep right up with them and have a good time, and it's always kind of nice to have that kind of crew about you. I think the whole thing kind of keeps you young.
Now, eating here is one thing and enjoying the food here in the restaurant, but what about when it comes to catering? How do you uphold the same philosophy of delivering the freshest ingredients and your consistency with the meals?
You know, our catering program is designed to specifically mirror what we have in the restaurant. So what we're doing out at an on-site catering, whether we're bringing a grill out and grilling on location, we're going to use all the same products that we have in the restaurant here. To be honest, we don't want to try to get real cute with a lot of different things. So those same products, that skirt steak, that fresh grilled chicken done over a mesquite wood fire, it's what we do with our catering. And the reason a lot of we do that, one is some is simplicity, but also the other is that when people come, and we get this quite a bit, we'll go out and do a catering and somebody will experience our food on a catering and they're just amazed at the taste and the quality of the food, and they have to know where this restaurant is, and they've never heard of it before, and that'll draw people into the restaurant. On the same token, people that have come to the restaurant for years and years, and now they have that special occasion, they have that wedding, they have that Christmas party, they have that big birthday, they have that anniversary, they have that reunion. that they want to do a catering. Well, they need to be comfortable enough the fact that the food that they're going to get on that catering is going to be the same experience that they had inside the restaurant. And we're very, very good. Laura Fryer, our catering coordinator now, does a great job working, trying to make sure that all that's coordinated and that, you know, once again, that the product, the freshness, the quality of that product is the exact same as what we are going to offer here in the restaurant.
Now, before we end this interview, I want to talk a little bit more about the type of guests that you draw in. Now, you say you have some that come from all over the Inland Empire, but how about out of state? I heard that you have some that fly in from New York sometimes?
I know some people that comes even from Alaska. It's an ex-employee, Anchos alumni, and now she runs some kind of a program with the health department in Alaska, Melissa Red.
Oh, no. She's actually a dentist.
A dentist there. Well, she always makes sure that she gets here with the whole family. And we got customers from Dakota, customers from Utah, customers from Las Vegas. There's customers that just come and eat from Phoenix and go back. There's customers from Texas, customers from Savannah, Georgia. People comes all the way from Philadelphia, North Carolina. Before making it home, the destination is Anchos, from the airport to Anchos. And then from here they do, but the first stop is Anchos. And then, you know, has a lot of friends that come from Washington, Oregon.
Actually, one of the instances I can think of, and it was jaw-dropping. I had a young couple, they had been in the Philippines, they were regular guests, and I hadn't seen them in a while, and they had been in the Philippines for 3 months. They had flown back to the United States, landed at LAX, it was a 19-hour flight, got in their car, came back to Riverside. Now they've been gone for 3 months. They've been flying for almost a day. And do you think they would go home, maybe relax or whatever? And the first place they came was Anchos. I got goosebumps now when I think about that. I mean, I couldn't believe it. They had to have been exhausted. And they're like, no, we're going to come to Anchos and then we're going to have it. I had a very similar scenario happen with some very regular guests from Toronto, Canada. Same thing this last summer. They flew into LAX, and before they even go home, they're going to come to Anchos. But what we see a lot is, you know, people that have been out here, maybe they've moved back to the East Coast or to the Midwest, or transferred out because of their jobs or family, or just retired in another state. And when they come back to Southern California, they're a list of things to do. We're going to go to the beach. We're going to do Disneyland. We'll do SeaWorld, you know, or all these other things, and we got to go to Anchos. And it's really kind of fun to be kind of included in that. But some of them, and they'll tell you, they say that's what we do. We wouldn't miss it. And it's, once again, it's truly humbling that people, I mean, sometimes I'm amazed that people will actually do that.
Now, Pepe, what is one of your most memorable moments here?
Oh, I don't know. I think every day is different to me. Every year is different. I have enjoyed working with a lot of people that is no longer with us for whatever reason, that they become either CHP officers, police, ministers, doctors. I still maintain friendship with them. Probably the moment that I enjoy the most is just being here. The first day of my life on Anchos. I want to say something, I don't know if this is right to say, but I hit the lotto 3 times. The first time is when I married my wife. The second, when I crossed into the United States and came to live here. And the third time is when I started working for Anchos. That's probably the most memorable day. I got lost looking for a job. That's back in August or September of '89. And I saw a sign up there that says now hiring. Go to office C4, which is across. And I met Dean. I met Jack Collins. I met Doug Warrell. And from there, that's the beginning of my Anchos life. So to me, the most memorable moment is that, being hired by Anchos.
Some may say that change is good, but for Anchos, you are the only Anchos around. Have you ever thought about expanding, or do you plan to expand in the near future?
You know, it's not to say never, but we think about it all the time, and we constantly talk ourselves out of it all the time. You know, there's some costs, some that are indigenous with this restaurant, with this concept, that are a little scary. So when you go out to expand, that's going to be a difficult thing. And I think having a single location, being in one spot, has its kind of uniqueness, its draw when people come in. When you get involved in multiple locations, chains, if that happens, that means something's got to happen in the way that Pepe has to take one, I have to take one. Are we going to be able to manage 2 restaurants or run 2 restaurants effectively as we'd be able to run one? I'm from a corporate restaurant background years and years ago, gone through a restaurant company that expanded and kind of seen kind of the tough side of that, and it gets pretty ugly pretty fast when things aren't going real well. So you know, once again, we want to avoid change, and then one of the things is just growth. I mean, over the years we've been very fortunate to see our sales grow, and one of the things we've done this year is we've brought on a new manager, Saul Avalos, who's been with us for years and years. So in essence, we've promoted from within. That's helping us a little bit more, kind of shoring up some of our operational issues or whatever. But you know, being able to get great quality people like that is really, really important. But the ability to you know, you got to think long and hard before you decide that you're going to open another restaurant, because everybody's on the gung-ho train or whatever, but things could, if a few things get a few clogs in the wheel, it can be real ugly real fast. And we've got a wonderful experience here. You know, we have almost 90 employees. The decisions that we make, we understand that, and Pepe and I feel very strongly about this, we're not just making decisions for ourselves. We're making decisions now for all of our employees. It's not a lot of just, you know, we have a lot of college kids, young kids working for us, but as I said before, we have people in the kitchen that have been working for us for 24 years, make a wonderful living. They have families. We have several people in here where we have both the husband and the wife working for us. So we have to be very, very careful, because Anchos is their livelihood and it has been there for a long, long time. And if Anchos doesn't continue to thrive, those people now are out looking for a job somewhere else, and that's very important to us. So the decisions, once again, after you've been there for 25 years, those decisions weigh a little more heavily on you, because those relationships with those people and that responsibility that you have to those people working for you becomes far, far greater. So decisions I make or that we make are heavily vested, not only with ourselves, but also for our staff and everybody that's here.
We love Anchos! We love Anchos because we work here! We love Anchos! We love Anchos!
Anchos' week-long 25th anniversary celebration is a testament to its success, but its goal for such a celebration lies within a desire to give back to the community, insomuch as Bergstrom and Padilla agree that without the support from the community, their success could not be achieved. Throughout the past 25 years, some of their clientele continue to travel to Anchos for dining, even though they now live in different states, including Alaska, North Carolina, Texas, Georgia, Oregon, and more. For many, Anchos is their first stop as they venture back into California. I'm your host, Alexandria Nardoni, and thank you for joining us today on this edition of California CEO Magazine.